gallery, and we're installing some new pieces. The show, which will open in about a month, is called All Possible Photons, and the underlying images are based on Feynman diagrams. Richard Feynman, the physicist, designed diagrams, made diagrams that show the complex interactions of electrodynamics, photons, electrons, and all kinds of particles. And those diagrams are a wonderful example of power of visual thinking because they replaced enormously complex equations. And they use those diagrams, in effect, in calculating properties of electrons to 20 significant digits. And so this piece is called it's All Possible 6-photon scatterings. So these little wiggles are the symbol for the photons. I'm going to talk about art in a second. Just tell you where this came from. And each time there's a vertex, it releases the path, it releases a photon, and so there are 6 that come out from each. And all possible paths, there are 120, so these are all possible paths for 6-photon scattering. So it starts out up at the top, the hexagon winds up with that, and I wrote about these in my book Beautiful Evidence, and always had them on my mind. And so we started playing with them, and we made some great big guys. These are really complicated. And then there's a computer program that prints out all possible paths for 6-photon scattering, and a mixture of Saul LeWitt of conceptual art, of putting lines on the wall. It hangs on the wall, but the lines are enormously complicated depending on the light. And so you see shadows here that are paths. And as the car goes by, the light that comes off the windshield, I never thought I'd like that light, but it comes, it comes across the piece, and it's all for free. And like good sculpture, it looks different all the time. You know, even when I have a really wonderful painting on the wall, a flat, after about 2 months, I don't see it anymore. I have to move it to some other place to see it with fresh eyes. Every day out in the sculpture field, things look different because good sculpture generates an enormous multiplicity of images. So you can move the piece, you can move the light, you can move yourself. And so as you change, as you move, you can see the piece move against itself because it's 3-dimensional, moving against the light, your relation to the sun or to this light source, the angle changes. And so good sculpture generates, especially if it's not bilaterally symmetric, generates an enormous multiplicity of images. So for the viewer, it means to take a walk, to move around the piece, to watch the dynamics, how it changes, how the airspace changes, how I think a good many sculptors, as I do, think of air as a material, just like steel, because you're shaping the airspace. So think about the airspace and the volumes and the sense of the presence. It also means if you see a piece and you don't like it, just move 3 feet to the left. Hey, it'll look different. Give the piece a chance. Give it a chance.